Good morning, guys. It is 7:59 a.m. September 10th, 2017. All right, we've had some changes with Irma, and we've had some major changes with Jose. Irma, guys, has made its northern swing. It's officially a west-northwest movement at 8 miles per hour. We're at 130 mile per hour sustained winds, so we got stronger overnight, and the barometric pressure dropped to 929. So we will see how much that continues to drop and if this wind speeds pick up. But guys, the path of this thing is getting more certain. People in Florida, there's nothing else to say at this point. If you're there, you're staying there. And if you're not there, you're going to wait this thing out. But guys, we just all need to think about Florida. If we have friends and family there, the people that decided to stay, this is all we can do at this point. I can sit here and report all day on Irma, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until about landfall. I'm going to continue with Jose. Jose is going to take over the attention, guys. Unfortunately, even though we're going to be dealing with major damage and cleanup in Florida, the second this storm is done, this is just the way it works. Jose is going to be the next focus of attention. And there's been some major changes. So again, guys, right now Irma is about to hit Key West, areas like Big Pine and Marathon. They are getting wind bands that are just unbelievable. I can't even imagine what's going to happen in some of these places with the storm surge. It's hard to think about. And once that happens, guys, I'll do what I can to bring you some of that stuff. There will probably be tons of video online for everyone to see. But we'll work through it together and we'll see what's going on. But here's Irma, guys. Irma's making a west-northwest approach. There are some models, if I dare show you, that actually have another right swing into the east, like we talked about yesterday. That's why in one of the thumbnails I wrote in East Coast Swing, is because there are some different pressures, especially that wall pressure I was talking about that broke off the jet stream that is just sitting here and also will affect Jose. In a way, as it passes Jose, it almost spins it up and into the right, like a gravity type deal. A little hard to explain, but that's why these models are starting, a couple of them are shifting more towards the center. We don't want this to happen. We don't want any of this to happen, guys. Let's be really clear. But now we're putting the Panhandle at risk. Areas of southwest Georgia are now going to be more at risk. So, guys, Irma's not over. It has a lot more to give us, unfortunately, and we just don't know. Once it gets into the Gulf, if the entire eye is over the Gulf, all bets are off. These models have been pretty accurate lately, so I guess the best bet for now is to follow them. And if you're still in Florida, guys, or in these, southern states here, you need to be glued to your TVs if you still have power, and you need to be listening for warnings and stuff if you haven't been already. All right? That's the latest on Irma. We need to move on to Jose because this is really important. Jose, I'm going to bring you to Ventu Sky, and I want to show you what happens on Tuesday the 19th. Yesterday we were a little bit out here. I just want to show you comparison with the other models. Actually, you know what? Yes, let's go to the GEM. GEM has it more out in the Atlantic, but it was way out in the Atlantic yesterday. So the GEM is starting to line up a little bit with the GFS. Again, we are way, way out, guys. This may change drastically. I'm just showing you what the data is showing. A lot of people are putting these videos up already about a New York hurricane. I'm not going to go that route this time. But we need to follow the data, and it's not just Ventu Sky here that tells me that, okay? Because anyone can bring this site up and just say, oh, the hurricane's going to be here. But guys, we need to look at what's going on around these storms, and that's what's important. That's why I talk about the jet stream all the time. It may sound boring to some of you, but this is what controls these storms. Really quick before I move on, I have two things to say about Irma. One's really interesting. Here is our movement now. This doesn't backtrack too far, but I caught something on one of these radars that I think is actually a meteor, guys. I think there was a meteorite caught on the radar, and I'm going to show you why I think that. But really quick, here's some movement of Irma making its way towards Key West, Big Pine, and Marathon. Guys, they are getting slammed right now here. And one more thing I want to point out, Miami Bay. I saw this on TV. Very interesting the way this guy was talking about Miami Bay. It's almost like he predicted no matter what happens, Miami Bay is going to get flooded out and filled with water. So let me explain to you a little bit why that's going to happen. If Hurricane Irma is spinning this way, as it moves north, these bands that are coming this way are going to start flowing right into the bay here, pouring water all over the area. So even though the eye of it is not passing right over areas like Miami and the bay here, it's bringing all that water into it. If you notice on this side of the beach, a lot of the water is being pulled away, and then the water is being wrapped around, and boom, it's being brought right into here. So something to think about. Here is a video I captured, guys, on the radar. This looks to be a meteorite caught right passing over Florida. It's a common thing. There's meteorites all the time over Florida. But check it out in the radar. You're going to look in this direction here. It actually sits in the sky for about 6 to 7 minutes. The I guess you can call it the contrail behind it stays visible. So here we go. Here's the first frame right there. There's the second about 7 minutes later, and then it's gone. This is a recording, so it's me moving the dial back and forth. And I did some research on this. There are these things called sun spikes, but they're only common when it's sunset or sunrise. And this was at between 9:29 and 9:40 p.m., so it was clearly dark out. So I do not think these were sun spikes. I think this was a meteorite. I'll play it again. Look in this area. There's the meteorite, thin to as it enters the atmosphere and then breaks up. It brightens, if you guys have ever seen them in the sky. And that's what it's showing right here. It's 2 frames over 8 minutes, so it's not a glitch, or it would have been just 1 frame. So something very interesting there, guys. Not something you see every day, especially over a massive hurricane that's breaking records. All right, Jose, here is the the model from yesterday, if it wants to open for me. Maybe not. I could bring it up over here. Here's Jose currently. Now I want you to pay attention to this too. This was at 30% yesterday. This X is the possibility of a 2-day cyclone formation chance. It's up to 40%. This X here means that, or actually it means less than, so we're talking 30%. I'm sorry. So it's basically the same. Now I want to show you something, because Lee, what we thought was going to be Lee, actually lost its spin, and now it was a new grouping of storms that came off the west side of Africa that are now forming and possibly making a cycle. Okay, I'll try to get these pictures open for you. Alright guys, a comparison really quick I want to show you. This was yesterday. This is where they had Jose coming up north of the southern tip of Florida and then spinning out and dying right here. Alright, I want to show you how much this has changed just in one day. Let me zoom in really quick for you. There you go. This was yesterday. Alright, it comes up north above the southern tip of Florida. And now check this out. Here is the model today. It barely passes the southern tip of Florida. It loops right here and then comes back in this area, guys, and that's what I said yesterday we did not want to see, and that is because of Irma. Irma is coming up to Florida, and I'm going to show you on the jet stream map once again why this is happening. So guys, we have a more shallow turn, and then it comes back down into warm waters, and then it's game on. We don't know what's going to happen from here, but the chances of it collapsing like they predicted are probably less at this point, so that's something to follow. Let me bring you back here, and I will show you why I think this is happening. Again, we're back at the jet stream, and this is going to answer our questions for now. Here's Irma. You're going to see Irma move up Florida and then interact with this band that we saw break off the jet stream and become a front. This is what kept Irma moving west so long that it's now a west coast of Florida storm instead of an east coast. And the speed of Irma, remember, it made contact with Cuba, slowed down, and then this front passed over and it went up the west side. So all these little factors are playing very significant roles. That's why this stuff is very important to follow. It's not just about watching the hurricane, it's about watching what's going on around it. So we see Irma making contact finally with this front wall, and then watch what happens, guys. This is very, very interesting. Here's Jose, okay? Here's Irma forming its own front. And like I said yesterday, it almost turns into a catcher's mitt. See that? This is a mix between Irma's natural movement and the spin of Jose at this point. Jose expected to be a stronger hurricane by this point. So it's affecting what's going on around it also. But look how this front here, jet stream reforms and moves on. But now the force of the jet stream is spinning this front in this direction. So you're going to see it turn to the east. And as it turns to the east, guys, it's almost like it's pushing Jose up this area. And that's why we're getting these readings for a northeast storm. Alright, so guys, this is once again the jet stream doing what it does. Look how it circles Jose and almost guides it right up into this area. It's unbelievable to see. That's our last frame. All right, so guys, that's where we're at right now, and that's why we need to watch Jose. I will have updates later on today. Here's Ventus Sky once again. The GEM model has it out in the Atlantic more. You switch to the GFS. The GEM was actually out here even yesterday, so the GEM is starting to agree with GFS. Here's the 18th. And guys, as of right now, here is the 19th. This is what we have. I appreciate you guys being up early with me. I will have updates later on today as Florida starts feeling Hurricane Irma, and then it's time for Jose. Really quick before we go, what we thought was going to be a spin with Hurricane Lee or Tropical Storm Lee, that has actually stopped. You saw the spin there, and then it stopped. But guys, check this out. This just came off the coast of Africa. We're starting to see a little spin there. We'll continue watching that. Guys, thank you so much. I will be back shortly with an update.